What's up, y'all? Shout out the new merch, man. It's here, it's here, it's here. Go ahead and go to thatman.store. That's thatman.store. And you can get the hand down, man down merchandise right now. Go ahead and click that, man. We appreciate y'all.
That's cool.
Welcome to another episode of the Mark Jackson Show. I'm Mark Jackson. That is the dynamic one, my guy Bluu. Wanted to come and talk to me in the network. Shout out my guys Cam and Mace. We have a special guest today, an absolute legend. First, let's pay some bills, Bluu.
Pops, I got you. It's a big day. First off, y'all go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Shouts out to Underdog Fantasy. Click the link in the description and use the promo code MARK. They're matching a first-time deposit of up to $1,000. You'll also get a specialty pick. We appreciate y'all. Pops, handle this intro. It is a big day. Come on, man.
Another legend, so I had to write it down. Hall of Fame in the class of 2000. Two-time NBA champ, 88, 89, 89, 90. Five-time All-NBA, 89, 90 Finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, 1981 national champ with the Indiana Hoosiers. As a sophomore, led the Indiana Hoosiers to the national championship. Drafted by the Detroit Pistons, number 2. Played his entire career with the Detroit Pistons. Member of the Bad Boys, one of the original members of the Bad Boys. All-Star MVP, and member of the 50th and the 75th All-NBA teams. One of the greatest, not just point guards, one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the sport, the great Isiah Thomas. What's up, legend? Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
What you been up to, man? Tell us what you got going. I know you are as fine a businessman that this sport has ever seen, and I'm proud to call you an ambassador for the game, but more so a guy that I looked at, respected, and patted a lot of the stuff I do on and off the court. You've impacted my life in ways you'll never know.
Well, thank you. And you and your family have done the same for me. Big respect to Mom upstairs, who partying with my mom right now, still looking down on us and making sure that we're doing the right things. Right now, just, I'm dealing with a little Bell's palsy right now, getting over that. Trying to stay healthy, and business-wise, I'm doing the champagne thing. Shirlon Champagne is doing extremely well right now. Just got into Total Wines, and one of the fastest-growing champagnes in the U.S. And then I just moved into the automotive space with One World Products, and I think you and I talked about that. You, Kenny, and I talked about that on one of the plane rides back from the game. How we are taking industrial hemp, moving it into the automotive space, and just signed a contract with Flexingate, and the owner of Flexingate owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I'm in good company right there. So things are going good right now. Really, everybody's in a good place. So thank you.
When did you realize you had a gift as a businessman, along with your gift of talent on the basketball floor?
I didn't know if I had a gift or not, but I always wanted to look at life after basketball and what that would be like. And one of my first acquisitions was actually in 1992. I was on the cover of Forbes magazine for a purchase in American Speedy Printing and taking it out of bankruptcy. I was the first NBA player on the cover of Forbes. And that's when I started looking at moving not only into the business space, but also into the international space also in terms of doing business. We had 700 quick print chains across the United States, did well with that. After I exited out of that, then I went into Toronto, started Toronto Raptors in 1994, 95, was the first owner-operator of an international franchise outside of the United States. The Toronto Raptors are still there. Vancouver, as you know, started also. They're in Memphis now, so the success story of the Raptors has been a good one. It's still the only NBA franchise that sits outside of the United States. So that's when I got started in business. And from there, I just continued to be what they call a serial entrepreneur.
I tell you what, Chicago and Detroit, you made them proud because Bell's palsy is not going to stop the subtle flex. I was the
Oh,
first in '92. I was the first in '92 to be on the cover of Forbes. Like, you let us know.
the flex is the facts.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
You know, it ain't. I mean, it'd be different if I was lying. You know, I'm lying about nothing. I'm telling you. You asked me what I did and what I was doing, so I was telling you. I'm sorry.
Well, we want to say, I want to say on behalf of the show, congratulations on everything that you just said that every venture that you said you're involved in, and also congratulations on your speedy recovery. And it's good to see you looking good. I told you before we got on camera that you look like the youngest one on the call. You looking great, man. So it's just amazing to have you here. I guess I want to start off by asking, what's the biggest takeaway that you've learned from life after basketball?
I would say that for me, it's the people in the relationships, right? You know, giving love and respect to people when they're young, and then as they get older, right? Those relationships that you form, they last a long time, and uh, you know, we've heard it time and time again. You know, it's relationships, 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 and you don't realize just how important those friendships are, that love you give, and that you receive back. That's really what it's all about. It's not about how much money you make, or you know, the jewelry you have, or the clothes you have, or none of that stuff matters. The only thing that really matters is whenever Mark and I see each other, right? You know, I feel love from him, and I try to get it back, you know, and just the respect, and that, you know, that carries you through the day. You know, these kind of bonds, these kind of relationships, and that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from the sport. And you'll see that most players, when you ask them what do they miss the most, 9 out of 10 of them will say the locker room, because that's when you had the best conversations. That's when you had the best relationship, friendships, and everything else. That's when you know, that's when you let your guard down and you can really be who you are. And those are the things that you miss. And I'm glad that I was able to form those bonds and keep those bonds outside of the sport.
Well, you've been able to pour into so many. Uh, I think about Chris Webber, who was a guest on the show, where you brought him up when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he talked about the impact you had on his life. I watch a guy like KG talk about how you impacted him and pulled him to the side and helped him, nurtured him, and guided him. I've been on phone calls with you where we were mentoring younger guys, trying to put them in better situations and deposit gems to them. I was a young kid in college, standing in Madison Square Garden watching you warm up when the Pistons played the Knicks, and you pulled me aside and deposited a word in me that birthed something that I'll forever be grateful for. Your impact goes beyond the basketball floor, and I salute you and give you your flowers, because it will live long after you're, unfortunately dead and gone like all of us, but your legacy will remain because of what you poured into so many. You got to be proud about that.
I am. I'm proud about that, but I'm also proud that all of you grew up to become like magnificent people, you know, and just, you know, you mentioned yourself, Chris Webber, KG, hey man, just what you three have meant to the game and what you've meant to so many people across the world, you know, and to play a small part of that, you know, that just touches my heart, you know, in a very big way. So.
You don't know, that was Zeke. That was Zeke. Bluu, that was Zeke that came up to me, man. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like,
I can
yo,
only imagine.
my guy Dave Snowden had to hit me like, yo, come on, man, it's over. He's gone. It was going to start the game. I was still standing in the same spot. That was Zeke that spoke to me and knew who I was, man. That meant so much to me. I'm still a kid. There's a kid still on the inside of me, remembering that moment that he impacted me.
I remember that moment. You were, is it Shelton?
Yeah, Shelton Jones.
Shelton Jones. And I remember just the first time that I saw you play, right? I was like, oh, he know what he's doing. There are a lot of guards that don't know what they're doing. They can jump and everything else, but there are very few people when you look at them, like you, Stockton, you say, okay, this guy, they know exactly what they're doing. They know how to control the game. And I've said this before, Mark, and I've said this, and I hope you heard it when I said it. Like, out of all the when they list that top 10 of assists and point guards and everything else, your name is on there, but you are the only one who wasn't blessed with like great athleticism. Like you weren't extremely fast. You didn't have like a 40-inch vertical. You didn't have like the prettiest jump shot. But the only thing you had was a big old brain, right? That brain that you had was far superior than anybody that was playing during that period of time. Now, others may have been faster and they may jump higher, but there was nobody smarter at playing the game of basketball than you were. And that's what, when I saw you playing at St. John's, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I got to follow him. And then when I saw you at the game, I was like, I know exactly who that is. I wanted to come over and hug you and just let you know, like, hey man, I respect everything that you're doing out on the floor, because it was so different and so unique, but at the same time, it was the way the game should be played. And not only did you take that into the pros, but then you took it into coaching. And everybody gets credit for Steph and Clay. But I've said this before also. If Mark Jackson don't let Steph shoot from the hash mark, don't let Clay take bad shots, and don't pump them up and say these are the greatest shooters ever, there will be no Steph, there will be no Clay. Because Mark Jackson was the first one who accepted, keyword accepted, guys shooting from that distance. Back in the, hey, you would get taken out of the game, you would get cut. You shot from the hash mark and missed. Now, if you shot and made it, oh, everybody clapping for you. But you as a coach said, I'm going to allow these guys to miss a few, and I'm going to give them confidence because I've watched them in practice, and I know they can do it, so I'm going to let them go. No other coach at that time would have done that. Now, they'll all lie and say, oh, well, if I had Steph Curry, I'd let them shoot from half court too. That's a damn lie. They wouldn't have. You are the only one that had the nerve and the courage to do it and not take them out of the game. Now, the total game has changed. Everybody can miss from the hash mark, and everybody try to shoot from the hash mark. But Mark Jackson allowed, keyword, he allowed that to happen. Kudos to you, brother. That's that big brain coming out.
I appreciate the love, and I did hear you say that. That meant a lot coming from you. It took me back because I remember playing for the Denver Nuggets, and we had one of the all-time great shooters in the history of the game, and Dale Ellis, playing with us also. And Dale Ellis, one day in the game, he was mad at the coach. So he's like, I'm gonna just pull up from like the hash mark. And Dale Ellis is one of the great shooters of all time. That's like having Steph or Clay shoot from there. Right. But he shoots and pulls up, misses, and we're sitting there like, this dude's a joke. This, like, Dale, you crazy? You messing up the game. But the game has changed. Today, he'd have a license to shoot that shot at any time, which, he's a great enough shooter historically to be able to do that. But at that time, years ago, it was a joke to do it. But I certainly appreciate the compliment coming from you.
Well, again, just giving you your flowers and speaking facts, like, what you did to change the game and enhance it, and how you gave birth to Steph and Clay. Our game wouldn't know them. Remember, was Steph even starting when you got there?
He was starting, but there were times when he was not finishing the game. So in the fourth quarter down the stretch, actually one of the my first meeting with him, I said that either I'm going to get fired or we're going to both fail, but you're ending the game. Don't worry about that. Don't look over at the sideline, you're finishing games for me.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and no other coach at that time, and I remember that time vividly. No one was allowing their players to shoot from the hash mark and then blowing them up, and then coming out and saying, "Yeah, these are the greatest." Now he played with Reggie Miller and was coached by Larry Bird, and he said these two are the greatest. Now in my mind, I'm like, "Hey man, Reggie gonna beat you up, and when Coach Larry see you, he gonna have some words for you too, because Larry and Reggie, they definitely in the top 5 or top 3 shooters of all time. But you were right. Years later, Steph Curry getting crowned greatest shooter ever. That's because Mark Jackson put that battery in his back and gave him mad confidence and let him do it. And I hope when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he remembers you as the person that gave him that type of confidence that he plays with today.
Man, it's a lot of love in the room. Pops. I just want to go back for a second because you have a lot of respect right now because I've never seen you let somebody not call your jump shot pretty. What's going on? That's new. You showing a lot of respect today. I don't know. We glossed over it, but I got to go all the way back. This is the first time I ever seen you let somebody get away with that.
No, the crazy thing is the dude is so gifted as a leader that he massages you with disrespect to elevate you with the compliments. So I couldn't shoot. I couldn't run. I was an awful athlete. I had a big head. Like I'm sitting there like this.
No, it's a lot of love. It's a lot of love.
No, but okay, so not the first time I play against him, right? He's being coached by PITINO at that time. So we walk out on the floor, we shake hands and everything else. And Mark catches it on the sideline, and PITINO says, "You remember this, don't you?" PITINO said, "Take his." And I'm like, wait a minute. He ain't getting ready to take me. Dude, back me down. Boom, 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 boom. And that was the first time I felt him. I was like, oh, he kind of strong. He laid that shoulder on me, and he threw a little jump hook. I was like, okay, I got that. The next time down, they ran the UCLA shuffle cut. That was his play. They threw it into him, and PITINO said, "Take it again." And he dropped the jump hook on me, and I was like, oh man, I'm in trouble. So I had to lace him up real tight. And, from that point on, every time we played against each other, it was a battle. I mean, a real battle. And I always had to come to the arena with my thinking cap on, because Mark always puts you in situations where he's like the Joker, right? When you watch Jokic play, everybody says he's not athletic, he can't run, he can't jump. That's because those guys are so smart that when they get you out of position, and this is how Mark was, when they get you out of position, they keep you out of position. You never get back in position because those guys are so smart that they know how to get you there, and then they can go real slow so the whole crowd can watch and the TV announcers can say what they getting ready to say. And they say, look what I'm doing to this fool. Look how slow I get to go and lay it down because this stupid dude is so I want all y'all to see it and know what I'm doing to him. And that was Mark.
Well, let me ask you this, and I appreciate the compliment and the love fest, but you're showing great humility because even though I didn't have those things, let's trace to your side of the court now. You had all those things, and you were a brilliant basketball mind. At what point did you start the game slow down for you, and you start to become a mastermind at leading and picking guys apart, or teams apart?
Really that started for me in high school. Even I would say as far back as grade school, because that's how I was taught to play. I was taught to play the game mentally and not physically. I was taught that how do you move the pieces on the basketball court, and I'll never forget my brother Larry saying, "Look, Junior, if you take the ball and you walk over here and you stand on this side of the court, 9 people got to move with you. And what you look for is the person who don't move on defense. That person's out of position." And so we would not dribbling, but pass and walk and just move around the court, and they would teach me what to look for. And high school, college, NBA, that's just how I learned to play the game. And when I got into the NBA, Bird, Magic, Kareem, Jordan came a year after. Those guys, they had great size, great athleticism. And the only way that I could beat them was to try to get them out of position and maneuver them in a way that they couldn't use their physical gifts of size, weight, and speed against me. So I was able to take the ball one side. If Bird wasn't out of position, okay, Parrish may be out of position. And I can hit Lambeer for a 15-foot jump shot as opposed to having Lambeer down low posting up. So those little intricacies of understanding the game. And that's what attracted me to you, Mark, the first time I saw you. It's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Because let me ask you a question. On your team, on your college team, who made it to the NBA and played longer than 3 years?
Chris Mullin and Bill Wennington.
That's what I'm saying. Now, was Chris Mullin fast?
Nope.
Could he jump real high?
Nope.
Wennington won a championship with the Bulls, right?
Yeah.
Jordan hit him for a last-second shot in Madison Square Garden, and he dunked because those guys playing with you understood, man, if I get in position and if I get open, I can get my little shot off because Mark gonna put it right here, and Reggie Williams from Georgetown, he may be able to jump high, but he can't get here fast enough. And I can get my shot off, right? Because he was giving it to him on time, on target. Other guys, they would give it to him down low. They'd have to catch it, play with it a little bit because you gave him a bad pass. Mark Jackson, top 10 assists, on time, on target. He helped everybody.
You know what my problem playing the Detroit Pistons? It was Isiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. They had a go play. Basically, they stand on the wing, and basically, if it's Isaiah's turn, he comes down. He's just dancing. Now, if he's scoring you, this is old school basketball. You bet your bottom dollar the next play is go. Isaiah's on the wing again. At some point, you got to man up and get a stop for them to stop running the same play. And you're not dealing with a guy that whether he's hot or cold, you're dealing with greatness. That this is where they do their work at. And time again, you're like, this guy must not like me. You see the look in his eyes, like, okay, run something else, get somebody else to try. No, you got to stop it. Or you're gonna pay the price. And then the next segment, it'd be Joe Dumars. You guys, it showed the unselfishness, but also the greatness that during that period of time, you talked about Bird, Magic, Kareem, Dr. J, Jordan came along, great Milwaukee Bucks teams. Teams were loaded. But
Yeah.
you were the big man on campus or the last guy standing in 88, 89, 89, 90. That had to be incredible, and your swag had to be on 1,000.
It was on 1,000. I ain't gonna lie. It was like to be able as a small guy to say that you and your team is the best team in the world, and you winning, beating all the giants, man. Your ego and your feel good, ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it when you can stand up and say, I can walk into a room today and I can look at Bird, I can look at Magic, I can look at Kareem, I can look at Jordan, and I can say, I beat you more than you beat me. My team beat your team more than you know, and that's a hell of a feeling, man. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, and they may not like it that I can say it, but I damn sure say it.
And I know another thing. That's not the way you're gonna say it, neither.
Oh no! If I had my smile right and I wasn't dealing with what you call it, I wasn't dealing with Bell's palsy right now. You know, my smile would be this big, this out, and because wait a minute, hold on, Mark. When they see you, they let you know. Like I hear how Jordan talks to everybody. I hear Magic talk to. They don't talk that way to me. Come out. No. You can talk to him like that. He like that. Because I won.
Oh,
Great
man.
times. What question? You sprained your ankle in the finals against the Lakers and Magic. Anytime I ever sprained my ankle, all the energy in my body just went away, and then I had to regroup, and maybe I played through it, or maybe I had to go in the back and get retained. What went through your mind when you sprained your ankle?
First of all, we had worked so hard to try to get there, and we were on the cusp of getting ready to blow them out. Like we were getting ready to close them out. We are 3-2 in the series, and we getting ready to ready to win. Sprained my ankle, and as soon as I did it, believe it or not, I felt all the pain that was going through my ankle. But then I started, I thought about my mom. I thought about people in the neighborhood, people, my nephews who had been shot, and believe it or not, all that stuff goes through your mind or went through my mind at that period of time. And I just said, I can't lay here. I can't give up. And, I watched my mom, days she didn't have shoes. She would tie Glad trash bags on her feet, put a rubber band around it, and walk through the snow to work. And I couldn't give up. Now I didn't know I would play that well when I got back in. And when I get back in, hey, something miraculous happened that I still can't explain it today. I just know I couldn't miss, and anytime I got the ball, I just felt like I was going to make the shot.
Did you exaggerate the limp? Because I mean, you make moves and score, and then all of a sudden you did you know the moment was there and you milked it a little?
No, I didn't milk it at all. I really couldn't put that much pressure on my ankle because, it would have, I ran the risk of doing what Grant Hill did to his ankle. Grant Hill misplaced his ankle when he played on the sprained ankle, and it never was the same again. And that's what I was dealing with. So I was trying to be as gentle as I possibly could. And you'll see there were a couple of times I went in and I made a layup, and being in the air, I had to come down and just fall and not put pressure on the leg and come down on 2 feet. And we actually, and if you go back and you look at that game, I had a steal. Byron Scott makes a shot to, I think, to tie the game or to put them up 1. They were running a zipper play, and as he's coming up, I'm coming up and I'm like, shoot the gap. Everything in my mind is telling me to shoot the gap. And I didn't shoot the gap because I didn't know if I'd be able to stop. But Byron catches the basketball and he goes up to shoot. And I got my hand on top of the ball. He's shooting it. And I got my hand on top of the ball. And then I have to stop and let it go. Because in my mind, I was like, I got to come down on one foot.
Mm.
But if I wasn't thinking about that, I'd have stole the ball, we'd have won the game, or I would have blocked that shot. Byron Scott double pumps, get it back, clutches, knocks down the shot.
Bluu don't know nothing about this. We used to watch the games, game over with. We'd go to the park, and basically we're Magic and Isiah. So nothing wrong with my ankle. I'm scoring in the 5-on-5, and I'm running down the floor like my ankle sprained. But I'm just copying what Zeke just finished doing on TV. That was the good old days, and
Yeah.
the impact that you guys had on playgrounds all throughout the world.
Well, we learned it from other people too, right? Just I never forget the first time I tried a 360 layup. Paul Westphal playing for the Phoenix Suns against the Boston Celtics. In the Garden, he did a 360, laid it up. I had never seen that in my life. I went outside, tried a 360 every time, every layup I had, I did a 360. I was wide open and I did a 360 layup. Paul Westphal do it, right? And we used to call him Paul Ambidextrous Westphal.
That's right.
He dunked with his left hand. But number 44, that was the first time I saw, a 360 layup, and I was like, I got to try this,
Now, we talk about that Bad Boys Pistons team. I want to know, if you take that same team and you put it in the 2024-2025 NBA season, what's happening?
A lot of teams wouldn't get 100 points, I'll tell you that. Hey, dude, if your objective is to take 50 three-point shots against us, you are going to miss 40 of them. And the 40 that you miss, those are fast break layups for us. Those are like turnovers. You're talking about defending the perimeter. We could all guard the perimeter. We could, we weren't getting beat off the dribble. Now, maybe once or twice somebody would beat us off the dribble. But for the most part, I wasn't getting beat off the dribble. Dumars wasn't getting beat off the dribble. Rodman ain't getting beat off the dribble. Sally ain't getting beat off the dribble. And this is what I know. I'm beating all these cats off the dribble. I'm laying it up. I'm Tony Parker right now. I'm Kyrie. I'm going to the hole. I'm making layups. And if I'm not making layups, then I'm dropping dimes. I think I would do well, and I think our team defensively would be a juggernaut in this era. Mark, what you think? You played against our team.
No, there's no doubt about it. And there's some people probably watching this and be like, "Oh, that's just an old head talking." No, that's greatness talking. That was part of a great basketball team that actually had lockdown defenders across the board. That was tailor-made to, you can put that unit into 2024, 2025, and a lot of people would be upset because they'd be dominant. They'd be absolute dominant. Both guys, the three-point shot wasn't as popular back then, but both Isiah and Joe could shoot it. They were elite, all-time great defenders across the wing spot in Dumars and Rodman. Sally's length disrupted place, the power forward position. Also could be a undersized five. They running the floor. They picking you apart offensively. They'd be a problem. We'd be talking about, there'd be Isiah jerseys all across this world. And it's something he's not bragging. He's talking the truth. He's speaking facts.
Yeah, I think defensively we would be really good in this era. And we would be good only because
y'all good. Don't make up nothing. Because y'all great. That's why.
good. But I'm saying the strategy of most NBA teams right now is to shoot jump shots. And that was our strength, defending the perimeter. You wasn't getting wide open jump shots. And then you don't have a screen to get open either. All you're gonna do is dribble, 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 and then shoot.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the increased amount of 3-pointers that's being taken right now?
I think myself and also the fans who are watching the game are looking at it and saying, this is a bad product. We don't like to see the game played this way. Now, the Golden State Warriors with Steph and Clay and Mark's team, them shooting a lot of threes was great because they could do it. But now you have anybody pull up, and it would be different if they were making the shots. But most teams who attempt 53-point shots a night or 43-point shots, they're making anywhere from 13, and on a good night, they'll make 17 or 18. Very rarely are they getting to, 50%. So most nights you watching teams miss. And what professional basketball, what we used to like to think of is guys who got open, they were shooting like, 52, 53% from the field, 47 at the worst. And guys who shot 39%, the coaches would tell them, you can't shoot. You gotta pass to somebody else. You gotta pass to the shooter. So I think the product needs to be better from a visual standpoint. And I think all the coaches need to have different styles. Mark, you played for, 4 or 5 different coaches, right? Whether it be Larry Brown, Larry Bird, Rick Pitino. If I name those 3 coaches, I guarantee you, none of them coached you the same way or had the same style. Right. Now you look at 30 teams in the NBA, they all play the same way, they all talk the same way, they all practice the same way, they all eat the same food, they all fly at the same time, they got the same trainers, they all train on the same in and out dribble, behind the back. It's the same. And if you go to the video game, now the video game looks like the NBA game. The coaches, forgive me for going on this because you got me going now. The reason why we like football, right? We like football is because, hey, most of the time, every team has a different style. Like, okay, Mark Jackson and I were both successful in the NBA, but we played different. Muggsy Bogues was successful in the NBA. He played different. Magic Johnson was successful. He played different. Rod Strickland was successful. Now, name me 7 NBA players that play different from the other guy.
It's tough
You can't name 20.
Yeah. I can name one, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Looking at him the other night, 14 3-pointers on the season. He's getting downhill. He's shooting mid-range shots. He's getting downhill at the rim. He's dominant once again because he's winning the battle on his terms. He's not trying to be today's NBA player. He's getting the maximum amount of greatness out of every time he steps on the floor.
He plays to his strength, and his strength is, I'm taller than you, I'm bigger than you, and the closer I get to the basket, the better it is for me. That's my strength. What we would try to do is make those guys play to their weakness. And if they had a coach who was telling him, "Hey Giannis, you got to shoot 10 threes," we gonna be like, "Giannis, man, yeah, your coach right, man. You need to shoot 10 threes. Go ahead, man. Do your thing, man. Listen to your coach. He telling you right." But Giannis is smart enough to play to his strength, right? And that's why he's dominant. And that's why he's dominating, right? He ain't listening to all this foolishness about, man, I got to shoot 10 threes. And because you play right into the little guy's hands. Most little guys like Mark and I, where do we want to play against the big guys at, Mark?
We want to be outside.
Put them on the perimeter. We don't want them big guys under the basket.
But think about the leadership, because you talk about the coaches, even though the coach is saying, shoot threes, shoot threes, shoot threes. If Isiah Thomas or Magic Johnson or John Stockton or the great point guards of yesterday bring the ball up the floor and Joe Smo runs to the three-point line on a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 fast break, we're stopping the play. First of all, you're not getting the ball. Second of all, we're going to tell you right away, run the lane for a layup. Is acceptable by not only the coaches and the culture that's been established, but the leaders of basketball teams letting teams off the hook defensively. It's a bad brand of basketball. Like, there's no reason for me to run to the three-point line. That's not my strength.
It's a bad brand, but they're taking the most exciting things out of the sport. The fast break, you in the middle of the floor doing your thing, looking somebody off in the middle of the floor, and they running and dunking and flying to the rim, and boom. Hey, man, that was exciting. They've taken that out of the game. So ain't no more excitement on the fast break. And the fast break is run to the three-point line, get a three, and if you miss, that's okay. From a fan's perspective, right? I love, man, when Scottie Pippen was coming down the middle and he had Jordan and Horace Grant on the wing, and he pop it to Jordan and Jordan go in and dunk it. And man, that was the most exciting thing people had seen, right? Magic no looking to James Worthy. You doing but Mark had so many. Throwing it behind his neck, man. Between his legs, But wait, letting you know, this fool is out of position, y'all. Look what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to throw it behind my neck. So out of position. That's you coming in. Boom. Hey, man, that was exciting. Now imagine you in the garden and you coming down and you can't be in the middle of the floor doing your thing, and you just got to kick it to somebody and they shoot a three, and maybe they make it, maybe they miss it. Ain't no. They've taken the fast break was the most exciting thing in basketball. Yeah. That's gone. Ain't no more fast break. A missed shot used to be, let's go, we out, right? And Rodman coming down, dunking left hand, pointing in the stands, all that's gone. You don't see none of that in the game no more. And when you've taken that out of the game, hey man, it ain't that exciting to watch.
We talked about you being a brilliant basketball mind. What are your thoughts on the Emirates Cup? Milwaukee Bucks just won it. The changes that's going on in the league today, the players making $500,000 individually for winning the cup, motivating guys financially to compete. What's your thoughts on what's going on in today's game?
I'm as a former president of the union, I am extremely happy when players can make money. And I want the players to make as much money as they possibly can. My worry about today's players is not understanding the importance of, hey, you got to keep the door open for the next generation. There's a certain authenticity that you have to bring to the floor every night to make sure that the golden goose that we got, that we live on, you protecting it for the next generation. And what I see now, not all, but some, they not thinking about the next generation. They only thinking about, what's good for them right now. Now the money is good, and I want them all to make, hell, I want them to make more money. But I also want them to protect the golden goose and come to the game and come to the arena and let people know that, hey, we got a real good thing here and we want to keep it going.
That's a wrap for part 1. Big Zeke is in the building, and part 2 is on the way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Shouts out to our sponsors, Underdog. Go ahead and click the link in the description. They're matching a first-time deposit of up to $1,000. Use the promo code MARK, that's M-A-R-K, and you'll also get a specialty pick. We appreciate y'all, man. Hold on for part 2.
Remember, John Jones is the greatest UFC fighter of all time. That's my opinion, and I do not believe it's even close. One thing I respect most about him is he doesn't sit on a lead. He wants to continue to improve and add to his resume, his repertoire. Just recently in his November fight, he worked on one kick, just one kick, 3 hours a day, 3 days a week for 6 months with the expert in Taekwondo. That's crazy. Your problem is you're working on 10 different things and you're doing it on your own. He worked on one kick, 3 hours a day, 3 days a week for 6 months with the expert in Taekwondo. Well, just in case he had the opportunity. On November 16th, the 429 mark of the 3rd round, he executed something historic. The only time a fight has ever been stopped of his form and fashion. A spinning back kick, that same spinning back kick that he worked on. He was ready when the moment presented itself, and that's your problem, or my question to you. Will you be ready? We talking about practice. Blessings.